Hello everyone, it's Maureen. I wanted to show you a little bit more of my Blackwork embroidery. And just an FYI, we are filming on the new camera. So what I'm basically doing, and what you're probably noticing, is a lot of the needlework is along the stems. What I'm basically doing is a split stitch along the stems. And the kitty cats are not in the room for this particular film, so you may hear them in the background being unhappy that they are not allowed in the room. But they'll knock over cameras and make a mess, so we can't have that. So basically what I am doing is using a thicker embroidery thread. Give you an idea. So it's a slightly thicker one. There we go. Be able to get a better idea. And I'm using that on the outside edges. So I can double that up if I really wanted it to look thicker, or I could, what I'm doing here, using a single piece. And I've tried a couple different pieces. I've doubled it up in some areas, I have thinned it down in some areas. What's kind of nice with this particular pattern is there's these little hash marks that you see on the inside of the stem. So as I go along, I can also, I'll go back and fill those, and I can catch the outside thread and kind of tack it down with a little extra firmness to kind of keep it in place. Now this particular fabric I bought off of Spoonflower. This is not a sponsored video, but it's called spoonflower.com, and they basically allow you to print fabrics, and it also, if you're so inclined, you can design patterns for fabrics, have them printed, and have custom made fabrics for whatever project you want. So this is a piece that I bought several years ago and got started on and have been working on piecemeal for the past couple of years. So basically the split stitches, you have your leading thread, you go however distance you want. I'm doing about 2 or 3 little tick marks, so this is kind of nice. Those tick marks allow me to measure my stitches. But you pretty much do want to make a small stitch if you can. Mine are a little bit bigger than they should be, but this is demonstration purposes. And then as I'm going back up through, I make sure to pierce through the thread I just laid down. This is set up on a scroll frame, which is basically a wooden frame with dowels on either end that allow you to tension your fabric. You can get it pretty tight, but you do have to be careful of warping and other such issues. There we go. Now, if I felt so inclined at the end of this row, I could go back and start working on the ticks right away. The little tick marks inside the stems, I could go and just continue on. You know, sometimes getting it to work with and go back through your needle to go back through the prior thread can be a pain in the tush sometimes. You could also do a stem stitch on this if you wanted to, which lay beside each other instead of doing a split stitch, but I like the security of a split stitch a little bit more. Now, you may have noticed there are leaves and patterns within the leaves on this motif. What I do with that, I use the thicker embroidery thread for the stems and the little tick marks in the stems. And then I use the thicker thread as the outlining threads for this particular, for all of the outside edges and these little stems there too. But on the insides, on the actual patterns, I use this. It's an 80 millimeter silk embroidery thread. It's super thin. I think it's thinner than your normal sewing thread. It's really thin. I found a whole bunch of this on clearance at Joann's. They got rid of this particular kind of thread, so it's no longer available through Joann Fabrics. I pretty much bought all they had in various different colors, so I wanted different embroidery threads of different thicknesses. So it's good to have a range, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do with this project. Use the thicker ones on the stems, the little tick marks in the stems on the outlines of all the leaves and the stems within these motifs, and then go back through with this super fine stuff and fill in all the rest. So that's more or less the plan. I've been working on this for a couple years. If I worked on it every day, I'd be so much more further along than I am. So if you try a project like this, don't get discouraged. It's something that's going to take a lot of time, and this is something where you want to enjoy the process if you can, because you're going to be spending a lot of time working on a project like this. That's why I have it on this nifty frame that stands up and it's nice and close to me so I can see my work. I have a magnifier light when I'm working on this, which you may have seen in one of my other videos. It doesn't cast nice light for filming, but it's great for embroidering and being able to magnify the work to see what I'm doing, especially this really tiny small stuff. Magnification is your friend. Save your eyes. But if you want to see more content like this, I could certainly do a few stitching videos. So if that's something that you're interested in, leave a comment below in this video. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. I upload every other Friday, and I will be seeing you in my next video. Bye.